of illicit wealth and stacks of money seems to be carrying the day?
Well, you see, again, in 2024 April, I wrote an article. It's called the Museveni Anita Among bromance. You should go and read it in the Independent, because these things are not new. It is you who is thinking they are new. I wrote at that time saying that, you see, Anita Among's problem is not that she was a thief or that she stole money. That is a small side effect of her management of parliament. Anita Among was taking a lot of money out of parliament, not for her personal use, but to help Museveni build a political base, to help Museveni pass legislation in the parliament. It was really a political slush fund. It is true she cribbed off part of that money, a small percentage of it, to indulge herself in gorgeous mansions, in luxury dresses, and expensive cars. That is a temporary side effect. And now I understand human beings were driven by emotional stuff. The personal takes precedence. So when we are discussing corruption, you're much more concerned about her Rolls Royce, which was a gift I think given to her for free by somebody, if I'm not mistaken. She told me this is a gift. And by the way, I should tell you, it turns out that when somebody gave her that Rolls Royce, she informed the president, should I accept it? The president gave her, go ahead, you can accept it. Even though...
Do you find that credible?
I would not be surprised that if it were true. And Museveni even offered to pay taxes on it. By the way, I should tell you, Museveni is a much more sophisticated political animal than people think. Remember, Museveni is a gorilla. And Museveni, if you want to know him, is like Lucius Cornelius Sulla, an ancient Roman statesman. He's half fox, he's half lion, half fox. But the fox in him is more dangerous than the lion. So,
remember 2024, the president told the world when these accusations emerged, he actually told the world that he is the one who gave Anita the first big cash, 2 billion. Do you remember that? And he said, I also gave her 200 herds of cattle. And I've returned to her home in Bukedia, and she now has 2,000, meaning she's a good herdsman. And then the president said, he also gave other people, he mentioned them and said, they don't have those cows. And so in his view, he said...
So to continue with my...
So I just want to believe that it's possible that the president actually gave a nod that this vehicle, and the president has... You remember when we had a dispute over Chagulanyi's...
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof? Did it? Who cleared it?
So anyway, Museveni is a much more sophisticated and complicated personality. That's why he has run this country for 40 years, yet no president had ever succeeded in doing more than 8 years. So what happens is that I think the issue, therefore, was not her wealth, her ostentatious exhibition of luxury living was used, and I predicted it in 2024. You should read my article, the Museveni Anita Among bromance, that this was her luxurious living was a rope she had given Museveni to hang her. Now, there are two aspects of that rope, in the sense that she could have done those things because she has an unrestrained appetite for luxury. But she could also have done them, say, Museveni, look, me, I am very vulnerable. Anytime you want, you can take me, in which case you are secure. You get what I'm saying? So, to that degree, I felt that this intervention on the part of Museveni, his driving motive is that this person has become very strong and her wings need to be clipped.
So it is about decimating a powerhouse?
Yes. Now let me ask, if you talk about corruption, I mean, how many people have stolen big money in Uganda here? 10 times more than anything Anita could have stolen. How much is this? Let me assume each of those cars is $500,000, because the Rolls Royce is $1 million. And now these Land Cruisers I'm seeing are maybe $250,000. So let me assume her entire fleet is $2 million. Those houses of ours, let me assume they're $20 million, all of them. How much money is that? But there are people who have taken out of this country much, much more money than that. They have never been attacked. So I think Anita Among made one big mistake. It's not that she stole money, it is that she accumulated a lot of power and influence, both in the state institutions, but also in civic institutions like the party and these elite societies, where she was able to secure a lot of loyalty.
So she's a victim of ambition?
She's a victim of her own success. The final thing I want to tell you, Simon, is that more than money, I think Anita Among's greatest asset, me studying her, was her personality. Anita Among is one of the most skilled human beings in winning over people. Not with money, but with empathy and with understanding. I have a young friend, he's called Brian Kaboyo from Hoima there. He was the mayor of Hoima. I think he was defeated in the last election. He was telling me recently that when he lost the election, Anita Among picked the phone and called him. This is an ordinary mayor in Hoima, to sympathize and empathize with his loss. Count how many people among could have called who lost, or who won, she called to congratulate. The other day I was jogging with an old friend from Western Uganda there. He told me he has a construction company and he got a contract, and people in the ministry are trying to eject him, you know, use power and influence and kick him out. And a friend said, let me take you to Anita Among when she was speaker. He takes him there, and Anita calls the PS and tells him, no, speaks in Rusoga. By the way, Anita Among speaks so many languages. She speaks Rutoro. Do you know that? Okay, Rutoro, because she worked in a central bank in Hoima. Okay, not so much Rutoro, but she speaks sufficient Rutoro to pass by. So she speaks in Rusoga with this PS, and the man's contract is restored. She never asked for anything. So I have talked to so many people and discovered, because I have a keen interest in Anita Among, keen interest, because I could see this person as meteoric rise. And I realized that she has very good interpersonal skills, hold a second, which make her a very powerful candidate, especially in an electoral college. If we put her in an electoral college right now in that parliament, she would still win. You can see this party still supporting her. So the final point I was going to make about Anita Among is that as she accumulated a lot of power, she was naive not to realize that Museveni would be scared, not by her intentions. She believed her intentions were pure and she would never threaten Museveni. But Museveni does not believe in intentions. Museveni's risk comes from capabilities. The capabilities she had accumulated created potential for her to be tempted in the future to use those capabilities to seek the presidency. And that's where I think her problem is.
Well, Honorable Salam, how are you watching the entire episode?
You know, it's shabby, very shabby. What is said tonight and what is said in the media and what we watch are counter to each other. This narrative keeps changing from the same mouth of my boyfriend here, Andrew Mwenda. I think he's talking too many things which come to nothing.
He's giving his perspective.
He's actually scattered. He's even lost the plot. Just ask it in simple terms. What are you trying to do? What is it that you're doing to this nation? Because this an ordinary Ugandan is wondering, what is it that you are doing? You have messed up the whole institution of parliament. You have messed up the speakership. You have messed up new members of parliament who have not even stepped in the chamber. You have confused the whole country. Everybody watching wonders what's happening. Is it really that which Andrew Mwenda is saying? This is a power play. It's not even about influence. It's about who holds the power of the other institution. If there was a Museveni family person who would get it, they would get it. They would be assigned.